Welcome back everyone to another training week. You're watching the week of July 31st. I'm proceeding to build up for the World Championships, hitting all 6 apparatus on Tuesday and Friday. Last 2 weeks, the Tuesday 1-on-6 has been just one apparatus at a time, whereas the Friday 1-on-6 has been a full competition run through. So 30 minutes general, 1 hour apparatus, warm up, 1 touch, compete. Just a couple of days ago, Tuesday, I got through a 15.8 high bar routine, the full routine that I was building up towards the World Championships in Liverpool, and that was a surprise to me. It was the first casino that I've done since around the Oceania time, so I wasn't expecting to get through the whole thing. It was a pleasant surprise. The Mondays and Thursdays, you'll see that is me preparing for the routines on the following day. So doing meaningful sequences, places where I have problems, and working towards new things, like for example, starting to drill the makuts without any pausing in the handstand. And I came close to losing my nuts last week. Everything started okay, and I slowly started veering off to the right. So you'll probably see that clip somewhere in here. Pommel horse journeys are all about getting that scissor straight. That one wasn't very good, but some of them I've been popping up with more open hips, trying to save myself that 0.3 or any deductions I can on the hip angle. When the hips are open, it does become harder to make your way up to handstand quickly, so there's a bit of a give and take where I lose some of the hip angle deduction on a good scissor handstand, but inherit some strength deductions. So ideally going up to handstand really fast with more or less open hips is the goal. On rings, I'm doing my routine over the pit so that I can do repetitions of the double-double at the end of my routine. I have been doing a double-double over hard on a Tuesday and a Thursday. Boom. Elsewhere in my training, I'm scheming perhaps to add a good strength part in 1 year's time. A good inverted cross or a good Maltese even. Look at that face wham, smack in the face. Was not the best vault day. Now a little bit of a change on P-bar. I don't know if I did it this particular day. Let's find out and see. But I've changed up the order of my skills. Yes, there's good old Davey sliding in the mat. I was going to do the non-stop makuts to straddle. There we go. So that one did veer off a little bit to my right. So anyway, putting that makuts earlier. Obviously doing makuts 7th has always been very difficult for me. Makuts itself, it doesn't really matter when you do it. It's always quite an inconsistent skill for most people, I'd say. But it does make it a little bit easier to do it 4th rather than 7th or whenever I was doing it before. Again, give and take. The grip becomes a little bit more difficult to deal with doing the peach giant, diamond giant after the makuts, whereas before I was doing all my grip stuff more or less in the same place. And that dismount's gonna have to use some work. So the goal is to be able to have the fitness and the air awareness to go for the stick even at the end of a routine. Now here fam, I got grip lock. Look at that, left grip stayed on the bar. It's happened to me before, but this one I wasn't too aware where I was, and that impact over hard really gave me some good pains in the neck and the back the next day. But luckily nothing dangerous. Luckily nothing dangerous there, playing it safe on my next turn, and then boom. Now that kick out was really nice. Legs together, nice and square. One thing we were trying to do was to focus on initiating the twist a bit more aggressively at the end of that pagan, and that seemed to help me square it up at the end. So I wasn't able to catch any casinos that day, but got through a routine from a messy Coleman. The fear is still there, you know, not knowing how close you are to the bar, and those legs just go crazy. Those legs go crazy when I'm second guessing, oh, is it safe? So working on my commitment that no matter what, legs stay glued together. And of course, one way to combat the fear is by going high enough, which is easier said than done. It's quite easy to go high enough on a Coleman so that if you are right above the bar, you're okay, you're flipping backwards. But on a casino, that's a different story. I'm dishing out full power in casino, and still my head is level with the bar when I'm catching. That was a prettier scissor there. Looks like I did a few this particular day. Putting myself under pressure, doing a little sequence in front of the little ones. Easy sequence, but for me it's not easy. So that grip lock gave me some scares, and I had to kind of ease into pagans after that. Another thing I noticed right there is I'm trying to get rid of that circle, that additional circle on the end after the Magyar. The circle is an A on the end, so it'll give me 0.1, but I automatically lose minimum 0.1 for having my hands crooked, and also there's the shape deductions too. So plus it makes the routine shorter if I take that circle out. Hopping on the dismount. There you go, double over hard. Pretty sure that was my first one since nationals, and still working to figure out how to get these arms locked on a kip. Man, it's so hard. You almost have to like pull up with your pecs and shrug yourself up. Now here was a good Makut's day, but also the day where things didn't go so good. Was it this one? Okay, so that was pretty all good. I didn't even use the pads there, but this one, oh, that's as close as it gets. Luckily, I just I got my bum cheek, the soft part of my butt, on the bar. Oh, look at that. Choo! Close. So yeah, maybe not the best idea to be trying to do that Makut style for World Championships, but you know, nonetheless, keeps me working more Makuts, which will inevitably make it at least a little bit more consistent. Now talking about Patreon, I've uploaded a couple of Kudanovs now to the Patreon, which I did in my 2017 World Championship build-up, both with Lock Arm Giant. I've also recently found my first ever pagan from December, right at the end of December. I think it was 29th or 30th of December where I caught my first pagan, so I'm gonna be popping that on a Patreon as well. And still lots of things to come. So thank you to all the patrons so far. I think we're at about 11 or so. So you know, a little goes a long way, and everything does add up. I think I'm a little bit over 1,000 subs or so. Imagine if every sub gives you $1 a month, which is peanut money. Not even peanut money. Peanuts are more expensive than that. You know, a month. Well, you get $1K a month, and over 12 months, that's 12K, and that will be like enough for pretty much a free World Championship and a little bit of the World Cup's costs. So a little bit goes a long way. Even if it's a $1, it'll help out. What am I doing falling off check, fam? I don't even deserve $1. Falling off check at 32. Never underestimate the checks. Another thing I threw some Kudanovs on the Monday. I didn't include it in this video, but I reckon I'm gonna start the Kudanov adventures once again. There's talk that Gaylord type skills will increase in value in the next code of points. So if Kudanov does go up to an H, well, it might be a good idea to start doing it again. I need to start believing that I can do that skill more consistently, because I lost hope. To be honest, I never had any hope. I always knew it was going to be tough to giant nicely out of that skill, but I think I still have another one on my hard drive that I need to pull out, and it's the one that I used in an Instagram video where I was writing the values of each skill and how much it's worth. So somewhere in my Insta, it's like a 1 minute long video, and there's a lock arm Kudanov that I did at TriStar in my uniform during that video, so I want to pull out the original clip from my hard drive. I did do a lock arm one from memory in Hungary at a Hungary World Cup 2017, but I'm pretty sure that video is long lost. I think it was one of the New Zealand judges back then that took it, and man, it's been 6 years, so he probably has a new phone. But hey, it might be worth it to flick him a text just in case he might still have it. It's looking like a pretty sweet P-bar routine here. So 16.2 P-bar, I think at this rate I'm just gonna lock that in for Worlds. Just that dismount. High bar, still not sure. Of course, it would be nice to do the whole 15.8. It would be a big step up from last year. So last year I was going for the 15.8 at Worlds, but I didn't do the Zoli Min. I did quite a pikey dismount. So without the Zoli, I'm pretty sure it's a 15.6. Also last year I only did 2 apparatus. So if I'm whipping out the 15.8 this year, and as part of an all-round game, that's a clear step forward from last year. I think that was my first attempt at routine. Here's my second. Probably could have committed, but you know, still playing it safe. The other day was full commitment when I caught that casino. I didn't even look at the bar. I just whipped both hands forwards and luckily enough found the bar. So you'll get to see that next week. Also, you can see my first half stag.official, which is David's account. He posted my first half from the Tuesday, so if you go to stag.official, you can check out that first half, which was luck, but happened nonetheless. And you know, guys, if you've been doing gymnastics long enough, you know that there's always some luck involved. Pretty happy with those knees. Those are good knees, but ideally we get rid of that little pike in the dismount. So jumping up straight after, probably about a minute in between those two turns, and doing a little bit of extra, including a dismount to develop my endurance. And a wobbly stick. Looks like all that double pike training from 3 steps on the air track is helping out a little bit. And those layup punch double fronts that I was doing on the air track at the start of the video, where the focus is knees glued together, are also from 3 steps. So I'm finding that's working quite well, and I've actually been advising that to a lot of my seniors that have double fronts in their routines, to start with just 3-step run up, which forces you to really snap down into the flip and focus on a maximal contraction during takeoff. Ideally, building up to 2-step double pike. I'm sure 1-step double pike is possible, but you know, first you got to go step by step. So been helping quite a bit, and I'm going to continue doing that on the Monday. It's quite a nice easy way to start the week. High impact skills, but on a softer surface. I think at the end of this week I threw a double for the first time in a while off that air track as well, so you get to see that. The other thing that went well, which I saw I wrote in a weekly highlights, was the connections on high bar. I think I mustered 4 sets in a row where I released a second consecutive Kovacs. And you know, usually it's kind of send one and then catch one too close or too far, but this time 4 in a row. So you know, the next step is to catch. The next step is to catch the second Kovacs. That's something I've never done, but probably something more to focus on after the World Championships. And there's Saturday, bit of a play day. So enjoy the rest of the video. Huge shout out and thanks to all patrons. Huge shout out to the WGA who put the prize money from the first WGA Online Cash Cup into my Patreon. So I'm super excited to be able to use those funds towards this year's World Championships. All the best. Till next time.